Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is May the 13th, 2018. Strong hand, long-term thinking, unconfiscatable. All right, people. If you're watching this live, I haven't updated the links section yet, but eventually everything that I talk about will be in the links section below. I'll do that right after the show. Had to rush to get on the air before midnight on the East Coast. I, of course, am in Seattle. I'm going to talk about the fun times in Seattle, but I'm leaving for Norway tomorrow morning. Check out the links below. You can see some candid videos from Seattle. And also check out yesterday's Beyond Bitcoin show. I went way beyond Bitcoin. I know some of you like that kind of thing. And during that show, the great Ant Extra 300 shared this with me. Financial sovereignty gives you freedom of geography and dissociation. Think about that one, people. I talk about subjects relating to that on yesterday's show, which is linked to below. And if you're in the chat, you can do the super chat. I'll answer your questions. I wanted to say again, thank you to everyone in Seattle. Vlad, that dude is in motion. He put on the Seattle cryptocurrency meetup on Friday. They have it twice a month. Twice a month. I am going to link to that hopefully when I find the home of their meetup. But any of you in Seattle should definitely come to it. It was great meeting everyone here. And if you're in a different city, you should do your own meetups. I mean, you don't have to have them twice a month, but once a month is pretty cool, or once every other month. And again, thank you, Gary. He keeps driving me all around town. He drove me to the event, and I linked to his Twitter below. And he's a big fan of the show, and he's a great Bitcoin dude in Seattle. He has the Periscopes there. He filmed the Periscope videos. If you like candid videos behind the scenes, and you'll like what he uploaded. And I also linked to, I think, one, because they had huge long URLs, so they take up too much space, so I only linked to one. If you click on that one, it'll lead you to the other ones. And Gary's Twitter will lead you to them. And also my Twitter, TechBalt. Follow me at TechBalt, TechBalt. Unconfiscatable. Pound that like button. Okay. And it was great. You know, at the event, we were just talking crypto, and people weren't worrying about the price in fiat dropping 1,000. No, I didn't say one thing about that. We were just talking about subject matters that didn't pertain to that, and life went on. We were in motion. We weren't sitting there like, oh God, when should I sell? Oh, what is the chart telling me to do here and that? And again, you could be a technical analysis type of dude, whatever. But I mean, trading, you lose most of the time on that, people. And you got to think long-term. You can't be impulsive, worrying about price every second of the day. That's why you got to get out of the house and meet other Bitcoin people in real life. And speaking about being in motion, yesterday, someone in the super chat asked me, when am I going to come to Miami? And I said, I really want to go to South Florida. Well, a dude contacts me after the show. He emails me at adam@tresorhelp.com. And guess what? Now I'm going to be in Delray Beach, Florida, representing South Florida. I'll be in South Florida on, what is that? June 8th until at least the 12th. I'll be in Delray Beach until the 12th. Maybe I'll go, hey, if you want to hang out, maybe we'll set something up. Other South Florida guys. But yeah, I'm going to be in South Florida. And to also update you, obviously tomorrow I'm going to Bergen, Norway. And I will be in Bergen, Norway until June the 4th. And from June 4th to June 8th, I will be in Oslo, Norway. And then June 8th to June 12th, I will be in Delray Beach, South Florida. Thanks to my main man in Delray Beach. You're rocking it. And he likes, this dude is into like space travel also. Hey man, some of my free time, I watch that Isaac Arthur channel, a great space guy if you want to learn about space. And okay, that's Beyond Bitcoin. That was yesterday's show. Check that out. And again, I mentioned on yesterday's show that Eric sent me a super chat that I couldn't answer on Friday on This Week in Bitcoin, which was a great show that you should check out below, by the way. And Eric actually emailed me. I couldn't answer him because I didn't see his super chat, which I felt bad about. But he emailed me, and it's great. The dude's in motion. Eric, you rock. I'll email you some more. But again, I just want to tell everyone out there that I aim to please here. So when you do the super chat, I answer your questions, but I missed that one. And it was so frustrating to me because, but again, Eric got in touch. Eric is obviously a loyal watcher of the show. And he was watching yesterday's show when I mentioned it, and he emailed me, which is awesome. I love you guys. The guys who watch every one of these. How can you watch every one of them? No, please. You should watch every one. They're good. I find them entertaining at least, but I guess I'm biased. And yeah, this says Satoshi on it. I've gone over this before. You can get a shirt like this at cryptoids.com, 10% Meister discount code below. I know I'm forgetting something here, my God. Okay, so Tour de Meester. Oh yeah, Who's Who in Bitcoin video. It's always linked to below. Check it out. Who's Who in Bitcoin. I made it in October. Yeah, in the title of this video, there's a big Bitcoin learning curve. If you're a new person, take it slow and make sure you're watching good content creators, smart content creators, not people leading you into BitConnect. So that's a little guide that I made back in October. It is linked to way down there below. All right. So Tour de Meester says this in a tweet that will be linked to below once I get off the air and have time to put it up there. Historically, large-scale monetary experiments were done by governments only. Since Bitcoin, the scope and spread of such experiments has expanded massively. That is so awesome. So true. Before Bitcoin, you just couldn't create your own currency. I mean, you could only do it on a very small scale, and your government could easily shut it down. We're in a whole new realm with cryptocurrency. What Bitcoin opened the door to is incredible. Once you put it in perspective, historically, large-scale monetary experiments were done by governments only. This monetary experiment is not done by a government at all. It is, and again, it spawned so many altcoins. And so, yeah, good luck to them. Bitcoin is the rock, but hey, a lot of different experiments going on there. In the old days, but before the previous decade, nothing like that existed at the beginning of it. Nothing. And now at the end of the previous decade, we started this, and now this decade has been incredible. We'll look back on it. This is when cryptocurrency was really born. Because people don't say, well, the internet was born in the 70s. It was, but it really wasn't till the 90s, the early 90s, is that when it reached its true birth to beyond the very small segment of the population. Now, again, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, it's still a pretty small segment of the population, but at least it's pretty, I mean, you can hear about it on TV and stuff. Like in the 70s or 80s, you wouldn't hear about the internet on TV. It was a government thing back then. There were news groups in the 80s. There was once a way you could, Deja.com. Oh God, there was a site, Deja News. And once it was bought by Google. I don't know if Google, you could look in those archives and go all the way back to the 80s to see that people used news groups in the late 80s even. I mean, amazing, fascinating stuff. But no, we're beyond that in Bitcoin now. This is not the late 80s in terms of Bitcoin. This is 1994 in terms of the internet and Bitcoin. Okay, went off on a tangent there. So here we go. Alistair Milne had a funny one. I don't want to put these panics on pedestals, but I thought it was funny. We should start naming Bitcoin dips. My suggestion for this one: old billionaires shake their fist at Bitcoin. Okay, it's like naming tropical storms. I was thinking, but again, we're going to have dumps. We're going to have massive days where Bitcoin goes down by $2,000. So there'll probably be I hope in the future there are not going to be too many of them where we could give them all names, but unfortunately there'll probably be enough of them where we couldn't keep track of all of them. But giving the biggest of the big unique names are the most important one. I mean, none of them are important because you got to value your wealth in Bitcoin, but the most weak hand inducing ones, because we're strong hands, but we're watching and we're like, oh, it went down $1,000. Look at all those weak hands selling. I'm buying, dude. Those ones maybe we'll give some names there. So I thought that was funny. Oh, in Vancouver, May the 16th is the Bitcoin and comedy and beers night. I will not be there. I will be in Norway, but I think dude's in motion, and I've been linking to it below. It just says like Vancouver. Well, it's still down there. If you're in Vancouver, go to this dude's event. He's a good dude. And maybe I'll come to Vancouver I'll be in Alberta in July. More on that soon, but maybe I'll come to Vancouver before that or after that. This dude is willing to, host me, which is at an event, at his event. Adam Meister would be at this event in July, maybe. You never know. Thank you very much, my connection in Vancouver. And Vancouver is a beautiful freaking city. By the way, Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver, all beautiful. I haven't been to Vancouver since 2014, but I know it's beautiful. Here in Seattle, woo, they're living the good life here. And again, there's a lot of, I don't know, a little bit of snobbery and virtue signaling, and there's some really weak dudes here, I'll tell you that. Oh God, so guys have been eating a lot of soy, it looks like, some of the dudes here. And hey, if they want to poison themselves, I guess it's their prerogative. But today, Mike, the hills here are like the hills in San Francisco. Today was my hilliest run of all time. I mean, I am feeling muscles I didn't even know I had back there and stuff. I mean, running up the hill, the Queen Anne Hill, and the people who've been here know that. I mean, that thing is freaking unbelievable. And then I ran down a hill, then I had to come back another hill. I ran over 8 miles today, and lots of it was hilly. But it's beautiful running by the Seattle Center. Pink is maybe they're playing a concert there right now. Oh God. So you had all these. It's some interesting women hanging out there, to say the least. Not people I would hang out with in real life at all, and definitely people who are not into Bitcoin. That the people going to that concert, a lot of them are young people, but they don't know personal responsibility is the new counterculture. To them, virtue signaling is life, and have fun with the mainstream pink. But it was beautiful around the Seattle Center or the Key Center, whatever it's called, the Key Arena. I'm like saying the old names of it. It's down there, right where the Space Needle is. Speaking of that, if you made it through this video this long, obviously tomorrow I'm not going to do a live video. I already filmed the video. It's going to be me outside in Seattle, because I know some of you guys love my nice camera that I only use like 10 times a year, maybe, because I can't do live shows with it. But I filmed a show outside in Seattle. I think people will like that. That's tomorrow. Tune in at 10 p.m. right here while I'll be on the airplane, I believe. All right. What else do we have? This is really going long. This is a tweet from Pierre Richard. With every year that goes by, it becomes clear to more and more people that Bitcoin will not change in 10 years. That's why it continues to attract long-term investors, engineers, and businesses. Dude, that's a great way of saying that, because people want it to change. There's only ever going to be 21 million of them. That's it. It's pretty boring. It's not changing. If it changed all the time, you wouldn't have people wanting to invest in it. People want to put their savings in something that's boring, like gold. Gold doesn't change. Okay. Now, again, there are going to be things forking off of your Bitcoin, and you're going to get them for free. But that underlying asset, Bitcoin, is the rock, and you don't want it to change. You want it to be the same. And people can build things on top of it, second layer solutions. That's different. What lies beneath those second layer solutions, the boring Bitcoin of only going to ever be 21 million ever of them, that is staying the same, that base. And that is very important. and people must have that, be assured that's the way. It's not just going to change, because then it's worthless basically if all of a sudden the whole the basic concept behind it changes, even in the slightest. So some of these, hey, I'm not an expert in all the altcoins. Some of them, I guess, will stick by what they say, but some will try to change themselves. And again, the underlying Bitcoin is the rock, and people have confidence in it because it's not going to change. And some of you are going to say it should change. No, it's not changing. You do things on top of it. Okay. And there's not going to be 31 million. No one's going to change their mind. It's not. Okay. So, yeah, we talked about this on yesterday's show. I met a dude from Venezuela, a guy talking about be private at the Seattle event. If you want to hear more about the Seattle event, tune in to yesterday's show. Okay. Again, Vlad does an awesome job, but I did learn that there's so many newbies out there and there's a big learning curve. Be careful, guys. Take your time. If you don't have a lot of, get more experience. Learn how to send the Bitcoin before you get into these ICOs and these altcoins. So many people just want confirmation that their altcoin is awesome. And that's true here in the chat. That's here true. All the questions I get, a lot of questions I get are people like, what do you think of IOTA? Because they want me to say it's the greatest thing in the world. It's going to be better than Bitcoin. No. Learn how to send your first Bitcoin before you get into this trading stuff. And we're going to get, but one thing that was brought up because we were all in motion, and I mentioned this yesterday, instead of giving a woman a wedding ring, give her a Trezor ring. Someone's got to create a storage device that's shaped like a ring, just like what's his face in Canada? Can't think of it. Did it like a watch, like a calculator. He made a Bitcoin storage device look like a calculator. Make one that looks like a ring. And when you get married, you give the wife that. And it's got like $1 million worth of Bitcoin on it. And you don't tell her the private key. And you don't tell her the recovery seed. And if you do, then because then if she divorces you, she just takes it away from you. And she doesn't know the recovery seed is worthless to her. You know the recovery seed, you get it back. But no, I think wasting all your money on diamond rings is silly. Again, Jason in South Africa was the one who told me when he got married or he got engaged, they got some Bitcoin. And I'd actually suggested that before, and I was just so impressed that he had done that. We'll talk more about South Africa in the next show, because I've got some people are asking me about Lorian and stuff. I mean, Lorian has been on my show many times, people. Lorian has been in Bitcoin, but Lorian was the guy on my show on Friday, This Week in Bitcoin. And I'm not going to get into that. We'll talk about it in tomorrow's show. But the dude is an OG. I know he likes Bcash now. The dude has been in the space like since 2010 at least. He's been on this show before. Check out the archives. Not everyone we're going to agree with 100% of the time. He's not a scammer. I mean, all these people saying things about Lorian Garros, one of the biggest names in cryptocurrency in all of South Africa. Okay, tomorrow. I'll talk about it tomorrow. Or in 2 days, I'll talk about it when I'm in Norway. All right. So yeah, the Trezor. Someone create that storage device wedding ring type of thing. Some guys thought about it yesterday in Seattle. That's why you're in motion. Okay. What else? I don't want to. Oh yeah. Yeah. Some people just get into Bitcoin. These newbies are just obsessed with the price. They don't understand that Bitcoin is the rock, and that long-term thing. They don't know about the 2020 halving. They have no concept that Bitcoin is so, by all the experts out there, the people who know about technology, people who know about finance, and that are into cryptocurrency, there's a high, like 80% of the people, more than that. Who knows what the percent is? I'm not going to get into it. No, the Bitcoin is the one, and that nothing's going to overtake it. And maybe some people are Ethereum fans, whatever. But these newbies have no concept of that. They have no concept of that. They think that, this EOS or whatever that some conspiracy theorist was talking about, it sounds good. So maybe it can overtake Bitcoin. They don't understand, what the foundation that Bitcoin has laid down here, and how difficult it would be for any coin, let alone some small fifth tier altcoin, to overtake it. that most of the coin, they don't understand that most of the altcoins out there are just shells, or just a couple guys, doing a pump and dump or something. I mean, they no concept at all, because they're so obsessed with like, well, it went up 100% in a day. That means it might go up 100% in a day again, and it's the next Bitcoin. I mean, there's a really big disconnect from some of the newbies who got in recently, and what's really going on. So again, I encourage them to check out the links below, and always watch videos like this. Watch World Crypto Network, and take your time about learning about this stuff, because it's not about quick flips and BitConnect and interest and doing stuff with your Bitcoin or doing stuff with your cryptocurrency and all the magical things that your altcoin claims it can do. No, it's think store of value here, people. Getting uncensorable, unconfiscatable wealth. Think about in countries that have, many people haven't traveled around the world either to see how much Bitcoin comes in handy in a place like Zimbabwe, where I've been in Zimbabwe. I was in one of those bank lines with the great Tawanda Kembo. Pound that like button for Tawanda Kembo. And that it helps you get your wealth out of that horrible, corrupt government matrix, government banking matrix. I mean, they go hand in hand in those countries. You can't get $50 out of that country unless you got it in Bitcoin. All right, over $50, or who knows what it is now. What's it say? I strongly agree. Seems light years. Okay, here's someone who commented in the comment section about what Trace was talking about on Friday. And again, this goes back to my Bitcoin learning curve type of thing. Trace is a freaking genius, okay? So Trace talks very high level about certain technological aspects of Bitcoin. And he was actually scaring some relative veterans when he was talking about the Glacier protocol, okay? Scaring them out of their trezors. I mean, he is talking about you got to be very technologically skilled to be super duper beyond Trezor type of safe with your Bitcoin, what he was talking about. But what someone put out there was, it seems light years away for the average Joe to get to this level. And I agree. Some we got to be careful sometimes. Some of the smart geniuses out there, and you know what? Andreas Antonopoulos, he can talk on a pretty, and Trace can too, on a pretty basic level, but Trace does get carried away sometimes with the complexities and stuff. And we got to take it slow with some of the newbies out there, because some of this stuff is very high level stuff. I encounter people, through my Trezor consultancy. If you need help setting up your Trezor, email me at adam@trezorhelp.com, or you need a crypto consultation. But through all of that stuff, I have met people, and there's no shame in this, but they think they have to have their Trezor plugged in order to receive Bitcoin at an address on their Trezor. Okay, so they're smart, they're wise enough or they're advanced enough to have, they want to protect. They know not to store their Bitcoin on a third party website, or because you don't control your private key, you're doomed. You don't really own your Bitcoin, but they don't understand the concept of sending and receiving Bitcoins as maybe well as they should. At least, my point in bringing this all up is that if a lot of people who are doing the right thing in terms of storage and understand some of the basic concepts of Bitcoin don't understand that your Trezor does not need to be plugged in order to receive Bitcoin, then there's a learning curve here. Experience matters here. Experience matters, and you gotta go out. You gotta rely on yourself, personal responsibility to learn and to get some experience and to play around a little bit out and experiment. Play around's bad, because we're talking about money. We're talking about value here. You don't want to mess something up, and we're going to talk about messing something up in a second. First of all, I'm going to link to a Bitcoin cartoon of the day once I get this up there. It's a crypto meteor killing the fiat dinosaurs. I thought it's pretty funny. So Andy Hoffman at cryptogoldcentral.com has at his site, it says public Bitcoin announcement. Well, what's PBA stand for now? Dude, I want to get to sleep early tonight. I'll wake up early. I'll pack then. I'm really good at packing. But I need to rest after that run those hills today. Anyway, PBA. What the heck does PBA stand for, Andy? Public Bitcoin. Public. I mean, it's like a PSA is what he's trying. Anyway, the point is, he says this is the worst Bitcoin story I've ever heard. Okay, this is a bad Bitcoin story. Okay, and it involves crypto dividends, and the person who got into this situation was holding Bitcoin for 5 years. And so he had $300,000 worth of Bitcoin, and he wanted to get B Diamond. He wanted to get his B Diamond crypto dividend. And I have said to people, don't rush it. Wait. It's not worth it because it's not even 1% of a Bitcoin anymore. It's what's it, 0.5% of a Bitcoin? I don't even know what a B Diamond is worth in terms of Bitcoin. And it could go up again. Who knows? But the Trezor doesn't split it yet. There's no easy, safe way to split it yet. So this dude with $300,000 worth of Bitcoin, in order to get $150 worth of B Diamond, tried to do the splitting on his own, and he lost all of his Bitcoin. So I've warned everyone about this before, that it's not, I put it in percent terms. It's not worth it to try to split it on your own before the Trezor does it for you for a 0.5% return. Well, here we go. It's not worth it to lose $300,000 to get $150. That's it in real numbers. And that really happened to that guy. That email, Andy does not know, this guy emailed Andy out of the blue. So I thank Andy for, he posts that again on cryptogoldcentral.com. It's a serious thing, dudes. You cannot rush. You cannot be impulsive, and you can't do things until they're totally safe with these crypto dividends. And it's not, when it's such a small amount, it's definitely not worth it. Just put it in that perspective, people. All right. So no, it's not all fun and games. It's not, I mean, again, I paint a pretty bright picture of crypto dividends because you're getting something for free, and that is true, but you got to be patient. You cannot split it on your own until you know it is 100%. You know what you're really doing. And again, with me, I wait till the Trezor does it. So I've only done B Gold and the whatchamacallit, the B Gold. And again, if you happen to have it on an exchange, which you shouldn't have it, sometimes they split it for you. But B Gold and B Cash is what I was trying to say. All right, here's another thing. This is from my buddy up in Quebec. Well, I don't know if I can say his name. JS. I'll call him JS. I'll link to it below. This article is in French, but basically Quebec elections are coming up this fall, and politicians are already discussing cryptocurrency. Bitcoin mining could be a hot topic in the upcoming Quebec elections. Exciting times ahead. Well, thank you for sending me that update from Quebec. I spent some time in Quebec City last year. Lovely place. Maybe I'll visit Montreal soon. But that is interesting that even the sociopathic politicians, they're being forced to talk about Bitcoin because it's a legitimate industry up there. The Bitcoin mining industry. And I know Francis has spoken about this before. Francis Pula, he's been on my show. He's on Vortex's show a lot. God, whose name did I? Rudolfo Novak is the one, by the way. He's in Canada, and he's the one who did the calculator Bitcoin storage device. There's my memory. Oh, all right. Here is another story. Wow, I could save this for tomorrow because I didn't put this in the title. It's a really good story. Okay, for those of you who made it this far, a person I know sent me this story. And you can believe it or you don't have to believe it. I was invited to New York by an individual who introduced me to some high-level Wall Street guys. I went there with my attorney and my co-founder. Topic that was up for discussion was the following: purchase of large amounts of Bitcoin, 10,000 plus Bitcoin. The person wanted to buy over 10,000 Bitcoin. I got a chance to develop a relationship with the individual buyer and got a feel for what is currently taking place in the marketplace. I attest that after that meeting, it has finally hit me. Bitcoin will reach $100,000 per coin. At this stage, institutions are looking to purchase but cannot purchase from exchanges because they will be affecting the market price of Bitcoin. There are hedge fund owners lined up ready to buy Bitcoin in bulk, but at a discounted price. They all know each other, and everyone is anxiously waiting for one to successfully execute an order to buy from the supplier. The only way to do this is by purchasing from individuals who own large amounts of Bitcoin. Okay, I'm not going to get into this. He has a question for me because he's having a very hard time finding people to sell that have large amounts of Bitcoin that want to sell. So what he's saying, and again, this is an anonymous person to you. It's someone that I know, and there's a lot of people that want a lot of Bitcoin. They can't get a lot of Bitcoin. They're on the sidelines now. Eventually, they're going to give in, and they're going to be willing to pay the price to get a lot of Bitcoin. He's hedge funds. So my point in this is that this is not some guru out there that's making some huge numerical claim. This is a guy who's talking with real people, real hedge fund people, and getting a taste of what's going on behind the scenes in New York City. And there is, according to this dude, a lot of darn interest. It's not just going to happen tomorrow, okay? Be patient. People know this is for real. They know this is a legitimate asset that's not just going to change willy-nilly. That's what we were saying at the beginning of the show. So I find that to be a bullish indicator from a dude you don't know. But again, I don't need to be reassured. I mean, I knew it was going to come to this eventually anyway, and I'm a very patient person. Maybe they're not going to get their stuff together until after 2020. Maybe they're not all going to rush into it until after 2020. I don't know. But we're talking hedge funds out there. We're talking Wall Street guys. And again, probably some of them are intimidated by all the tech. It's not hard. It's not easy to play around with right now. And again, for people like Trace, it's simple. I mean, many of the people watching this video that have been around the space since 2013, for me, yeah, it's easy. This stuff is easy for me now. But there is a learning curve here. And some of these Wall Street financial guys, they're financial geniuses. They don't have time to learn about the technicalities of sending Bitcoin. You know, that's another part of all this thing. Part of this is that there are a lot of smart people who haven't gotten into this yet. And because they do other things, they have other things to worry about, which is unfortunate because they really start worrying about Bitcoin and they'll get wealthier. And well, they won't get smarter, but they can apply their intelligence to this. If you're smart in one thing, you can be smart enough in Bitcoin. Trust me. Because I'm not a technological guy. I'm a smart guy in marketing or whatever the heck I went to school for, whatever I'm good with. I don't know. Whatever my brain, maybe I'm not, but I caught on the Bitcoin. I caught on the Bitcoin very easily because I do have, good in certain things. I was able to apply those skills to Bitcoin. If you've got intelligence skills, you'll be able to jump onto the Bitcoin train and understand it to a point where you'll be very safe with it. Hopefully, these hedge fund guys are going to be very comfortable soon with it and jump in. Okay. Pound that like button if you like how long this darn thing has been going, because there is one more thing I wanted to say about Steemit, and it was in the title, so I got to say it. I can't leave this out. All right, that's the Lorian stuff. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay, Rubin report. Have you guys heard of this guy, Dave Rubin? He talks about politics. Again, don't waste your time on politics, but sometimes you want to hear about what's going on around in the world and stuff. And Dave Rubin interviews some smart people. He interviews, Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson, all those guys, and Stefan Molyneux. Well, I'm watching this. I'm watching Ben Shapiro interview Dave Rubin today, and again, they bring up the deplatforming and that sometimes they're not allowed to speak places, or that YouTube is demonetizing them, and that they're frustrated, and they're talking about different ways that Facebook could be punished or YouTube could be. And again, they're libertarian types, but still the word government got thrown in there a couple times. And the point is this: they're coming out with all these theories about the legalities behind being deplatformed by colleges and being demonetized by YouTube and being hidden by Facebook and shadow banned by Twitter and all of this stuff, and how they're losing money because of it. When Dave Rubin gets demonetized on YouTube, that hurts him. He said not to a point where he's gone out and tried to learn about cryptocurrency yet, though. He's doing, and Ben Shapiro too. Both of them do not talk about cryptocurrency at all. The answer is already out there for people being deplatformed. Okay, put a Bitcoin address out on there. If you talk about the Bitcoin, more people will find out about the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and send you the Bitcoin. If Dave Rubin moved all of a sudden on this show, said, you know what, I'm tired of dealing with YouTube here. I am putting some of my stuff on Steemit now. What's Steemit? Well, it involves cryptocurrency. What's cryptocurrency? And have a whole show on that. The dude would be going bonkers on Steemit. Any of them, Shapiro, Rubin, and again, they're coming up with all these theories and intellectualizing, what's going on behind the scenes. Talk is talk. Action is action. You guys are smart dudes. Be in motion. Get on there. Get on the Steemit platform. Get to list some cryptocurrency. And Ben Shapiro's had advertisers on his show that talk about crypto, but that's not the same thing. By the way, Ben MGTOW just sent $5. I bet the Mt. Gox officials have been computerized, are being used to manipulate the market down so the biggies can pick up cheaper BTC on the OTC. Well, I mean, there have been some theories about that mentioned that maybe the Mt. Gox trustee is, I don't know, in bed with some bigger actors that want to get cheaper Bitcoin and he's hooking them up. It will pass in time. That's what I say. I'm not too worried about the Mt. Gox trustee. What he did the other day, it went down $1,000. Maybe he'll do another crazy thing. Everyone overreacts to the dude. You mentioned Mt. Gox. You mentioned Asia. I mean, these are things that always bring the markets down. It's just short-term stuff, short-term noise. Ignore that crypto noise, people. But I love Vention. I love, he said compromise. He said, I bet the Mt. Gox officials have been compromised, not computerized. He corrected himself. And I caught that there. Vention, you rock. I know you're in this geographic area that I am currently in. It is a beautiful area here. And again, Vention, take it slow if you're ever going to leave this area. If you're ever going to leave this country, don't be impulsive. Just like you are not impulsive with your Bitcoin, except that one time you were impulsive with your Bitcoin. But everybody learned their lesson from Vention when he panic sold back in 2017. And recently had to pay all the taxes on that stuff. He still's got a good amount of Bitcoin. He's good to go. But he learned his lesson. He moved on. And we learned from Vention and his panic sell not to do it again. And we learn from Vention all the time that there's lifestyles out there. You don't have to get married, dude. You take your time, work for yourself, save your money, live a frugal lifestyle. That's what Vention MGTOW. He's frugal. In a very good way. And he keeps a dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. He's got a stronger hand than he did at the beginning of last year, and he doesn't get fudded out by anyone anymore, and no one should get fudded out by anyone. All right, but speaking of putting gurus on pedestals, because Vention was sort of guilty of doing that. He was scared. He heard Vinny Lingham saying that Bitcoin could go down to $300. And because he knew Vinny Lingham was considered almost a guru to some people, he took it too seriously. He sold his Bitcoin. Well, it goes both ways and Vention didn't worship the guy. I don't want to say Vention was a guru worshiper, but there's certain people out there who are guru worshipers in this cryptocurrency space. And a lot of these people they put on pedestals, I mean, they're on the periphery of Bitcoin. They're not even in the Bitcoin, like Shemitah guy in Mexico. That guy got into Bitcoin early, but now he talks about any altcoin that gives him a little push, should we say. I mean, anyway, we're not going to get the Shemitah guy. But people do ask me about, the Shemitah guy said this. Come on, dudes. Come on. Check out the links below to see some of the people I say, check out This Week in Bitcoin if you want to know the minds of Bitcoin. The steady human beings that are not impulsive, don't do crazy drugs or anything like that. aren't alcohol. Anyway, so guru, going back to the guru worship thing, you could sometimes you have these guys that are so pro, they say ludicrous pro Bitcoin things, and they get people too excited. And it's not, it's the opposite of FUD. It's clickbait type of stuff, but they're not even doing it for clickbait. They're doing it. Well, here we go. We got Max. What I'm getting at here is Max Kaiser has a tweet out there that was retweeted by, I would say by accidentally, by Money Triggs. I don't think Money Triggs knows the full story here. But Max Kaiser's pure hatred, and I believe it is hatred that he has for banks and bankers and for the United States of America, I think he really hates the United States. In a way, you know, I'm not saying agree with the U.S. on everything that they do, but to take it to another level where you think everything that they do is horrible and conspiratorial, and they're, again, I'm not saying be the patriot. He's the opposite of the patriot. Anyway, it clouds his judgment. It clouds his judgment here. So this is like the Bitcoin fake news tweet of the day. And it goes like this: huge. This is what Max Kaiser put out there. I'll link to it below. Huge. U.S. empire just got kicked in the nuts by Bitcoin. China, Russia, Iran, and Germany are dropping SWIFT and the U.S. dollar, Bitcoin to $100,000. So I'm like, whoa, this sounds huge. What the heck happened? So I look at the article, and then here's a comment that another tweet in response to him that came soon after. He says, this person says, misleading article. First of all, Bitbound is not a bank, but a peer-to-peer lending platform. Secondly, it's been on the market for years with good, steady growth. So while it's great, it's nothing new for Bitcoin. Source, I co-founded Bitbound. So Max Kaiser's tweet that I just read you, and I'll read it to you again. Huge. U.S. empire just got kicked in the nuts by Bitcoin. China, Russia, Iran, and Germany are dropping SWIFT and U.S. dollar. Bitcoin to $100,000. That was him sharing an article about a company in Germany called Bitbound. It didn't have anything to do with what Bitbond, excuse me. It didn't have anything to do with what he said. I mean, the United States, nothing's changed. It's the dollar. It's still the dollar. Bitcoin isn't going to go to $100,000 because of what's going on currently. It's not. I mean, dude, you know, I don't know what to say. And people are retweeting it. They think this is huge. But then some people were like, fake news. It is fake news. His tweet was fake freaking news. So be careful, guys. Read articles at least. Read the article at least. Again, I'll link to it, but it's not linked to right now. All right. And yeah, and because of things like that, I am not a fan of Max Kaiser at all. People ask me about that. I would never appear on that man's show because some of the things he says are so absolutely ludicrous. And again, people go, well, he got into Bitcoin early. He taught me about Bitcoin. Great. That's great. I'm glad he got you into Bitcoin. I'm glad he talked about Bitcoin early. I'm glad he's still talking about Bitcoin on a certain level. But doing fake news things like this, that you know, all these countries, and then Germany are dropping SWIFT. And what's going on here? That's not what the article is. And the article doesn't fit into anything that was said in that tweet. Okay. So again, if I'm going to call out FUDsters, I got to call out the opposite of FUDsters, which are these, like, I don't know what you'd call that. Like, I hate America so much, and I hate bankers, and I hate the financial system. And I'm so embittered that I'm just going to keep on say $100,000 Bitcoin and make up falsehoods around why. I don't get that, dude. I don't get it. I mean, yeah, we all want Bitcoin to do well, but we can't create fake news around it. That's not. You can, but I mean, hey, take some personal responsibility there, dude. You'll get people calling you out eventually. Maybe you won't. I mean, he'll probably he'll get away with it. I mean, again, Money Triggs tweeted it without reading it. So, Oh, well, I guess someone's going to ask me tomorrow, hey, what's this with Germany not being allied with the US and now adopting Bitcoin? That's crazy. All right, that's it. Pound that like button. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the link section below. I'll say hi to you guys in the chat. That one was a long one.